Oh, we are back with another segment of Around the League for the first time in this young NFL season for week one. And the first game is probably the most exciting game of week one on Sunday afternoon. Dolphins and the Chargers. Of course, we talked about this last week. This is a game that we picked, and we correctly picked the game as well as we both picked the Dolphins to win. And yeah, I wasn't really surprised with how this one turned out. It pretty much turned out exactly how I thought. Two high scoring teams, two high powered offenses going at it, making big plays all game. What I wasn't really expecting was for Tua to throw for doggone 500 yards almost. I mean, that was ridiculous. And not to say Herbert had a bad game, just in comparison, it wasn't amazing. Just 228 yards for Justin Herbert. A lot of the Chargers offense really came from the two running backs from in Austin and Joshua, respectively. So really good game for the Dolphins offensively, especially through the air with Tyreek Hill. I mean, there's no surprise there. I mean, Tyreek Hill is going to do exactly what he's going to do. There's not really much you can do to stop him. I remember really when he first came into the league, he was really just more of a speed guy, but now it's the speed and the catching ability that is just blended perfectly together. I mean, 215 yards through the air receiving for him. He's talking about he wanted to do 2,000 yards a season. I don't know about that, but yeah, the defenses are too good. Even if he gets his yards every single game, I think 2,000 is a little ridiculous, but he played exceptionally well. Jalen Waddle, I mean, he had 80 yards as well. So, I mean, they played really well on offense, too. Had an amazing game. Um, and defensively, when it came down to it at the end, the Dolphins defense was able to pretty much put the clamps on the Chargers on that last drive where they had just missed the Dolphins did just to miss the extra point, which which was rough because now it's like, okay, Chargers can go down, just get a field goal to actually win it, not tie it. But besides, the penalty for intentional grounding, the Dolphins defense just absolutely put the clamps on the Chargers, and they were able to get the turnover on downs and end the game. So yeah, shout out to the Dolphins and shout out to us for getting that pick right.
Yeah, crazy game. You've heard me support the Dolphins on this show before. I would not have expected a 500-yard game from Tua. I think this one was fun, especially considering last year Tua was a little banged up going into the game, and we had that hyped up Herbert Tua matchup, especially because the Dolphins took Tua over Justin Herbert. And last year it looked like Herbert was the better pick. This game, Tua comes out with Tyreek Hill and puts on a show, trying to reverse the narrative there. And of course, uh, Herbert doesn't do bad, but yeah, it's Austin Eckler and Josh Kelly. You really get a lot of the scoring going for them. 117 yards for Eckler and 91 for Kelly. Just a big running back double punch there. But crazy game. Glad we got this pick right. We did say it could go either way, and throughout the whole game, it looked like it was just going to come down to the very end. That's what it did. As Terrence said, Dolphins put the clamps on the Chargers after holding them after missing that field goal and getting in a scary position. So crazy game. Glad we talked about that one last week. I'm glad we got it right. From there, we're going to transition into kind of a different way of doing around the league. We had three big rookies hyped up all offseason. All of them made their debut on Sunday, and now we get to kind of look at what happened there. So we're going to start with our rookie, Bryce Young and the Panthers. Not a great day for us, as Bryce Young was 20 for 38, 146 yards. Throws a touchdown, but he throws two picks, a little rough picks too. One of them he looks right at Jesse Bates and then puts it right to him. And the Panthers come up short 10-24. Um, had some promise in the first drive for sure, and then we went forward on fourth down and couldn't quite get it going. And after that, it didn't look as pretty. I mean, we were able to come back later and get the Hayden Hurst touchdown and the field goal, which gave us a 10-7 lead. But obviously, it finished 10-24, so didn't quite go too well from there. But not a horrible debut. Some first game jitters on display, but I liked for the most part what I saw. I'd like to see a little bit better decision making, a little more poise, a little more willingness to run when he needs to. But otherwise, I mean, first game never great for the first overall pick, and I would like to hope that we'll get better from here with Bryce Young in this offense.
Yeah, not really all that much to say. Obviously, throwing two interceptions, just getting one touchdown, less than 150 yards, and barely over 50% completion. Not amazing, but I don't think And I'm not just saying this as a Panther fan, obviously rooting for Bryce Young. I think he's going to be good. I don't think those really tell the entire story. I think he looked
Yeah.
good for the plays that he played well, the throws that he had. He looked good. I think he looked fine. Confidence wise, I think he just has to, like you said, be more willing to run when it's there. Um, right? He did run in college, but it wasn't like that. Wasn't his game to just run all over the field. He's a great passer, so I think he does have to just be more willing to run when he has it, and be more willing to throw the ball deep. Obviously, we need to have some kind of deep threat, but yeah, we're willing to throw the ball far because a lot of his passes just were really short. And the main thing for him is just that if it's not there, he's just really not going to throw it. So obviously, you don't want him throwing picks like he did in two plays that he did. Obviously, one you mentioned pretty much telegraphed it to Jesse Bates. Got picked off by Jesse twice. I think he'll be fine. I think again, you just got to have some kind of deep threat. He got to be willing to throw the ball downfield, take something, not force anything, but just have to be a little bit more willing to try and make some big plays there. But yeah, it's just the first week, so I'm not going to kill him there. And then moving to the other two rookies, two games that didn't get the catch. Obviously, watching the Panthers game in full, the CJ Stroud debut against the Baltimore Ravens, and the AR-15 debut against the Jacksonville Jaguars for the Texans and Colts, respectively. Both guys did take the L in this one, but CJ Stroud wasn't amazing. 250 yards, about no touchdowns, no picks, just one fumble in a 25-9 loss. I think Anthony Richardson probably looked the most impressive, I would say. Probably not probably, but just definitely did look the most impressive. One touchdown, one interception, 40 yards on the ground, and a touchdown there. And was a little bit more efficient than Bryce and CJ, which was probably not expected because that was the whole thing that we harped on Anthony Richardson for. Um, in the pre-draft discussion, that actually just hadn't been there. And that's something they would have to work on before coming to the NFL. And he was the most accurate out of everybody to start. So I won't I won't say overall just for all three of these guys, not super impressive, but considering the teams that they were on, not too unexpected either.
Yeah, and especially in the case of Stroud and Anthony Richardson, they face some tough teams. Um, Baltimore, a pretty strong team this season. Good defense, good offense. Weird score, 25-9. Um, Actually, the first time that's happened in NFL history, I'm pretty sure. And then Jacksonville was definitely the strongest team in that division last year, and they come out again with a good defense and a good offense. And the Colts fight pretty good. They led a few times, but yeah, all things considered, not the most like eye popping debuts for any of the three of these guys. But Anthony Richardson definitely comes out looking pretty strong compared to the other two. Get on the ground. We kind of expected that with the athleticism he has, and a pretty good game in the air. Yeah, the efficiency thing is ironic considering everything we complain about, but that's good. That's what you want to see when a guy needs something to work on before he gets to the NFL, and it looks good in the NFL. You'd have to assume that he worked on it. So it'll be interesting to see what these three guys do as they go forward in the league. Obviously, the teams are going to need to get some more stuff for him. Bryce Young missing a few weapons to injury. DJ Chark a better deep threat on the team that was out with injury this week. And then the Colts and uh, Texans not in the best spot either. So obviously not going to come out and be amazing teams immediately just from a quarterback. You got to have some other things going around, but they've got really good centerpieces at all three of these teams to work forward with.